Hey folks, Fiddle Practice Friday again. Sorry about last week. I just didn't have it in me, and I think that's just the reality of the situation right now. And sometimes we just have to be kind to ourselves and admit that that's the case. So sorry for missing that. But this week we are here with double stops. So there's, to my mind, three different parts to double stops. The first is knowing the music theory that explains why a given note does or doesn't work with the melody note. That's a longer conversation. We touched on some of those things when we did the backup chord playing episode, but we'll circle back to that. Today we're just going to talk about the physical aspects of playing a double stop, and there you've got a left and a right hand component, and I think it makes sense to start with the bow portion of it, because if the bow's not working, nothing else is really going to work for you. What makes double stops seem trickier is that whereas on a single string there's a little bit of margin for error, right, to either side of the string. If I'm playing this A here, you can see that there's a little bit this way, a little bit that way I can go before I actually hit another string, right? Whereas a double stop is a line connecting 2 points. There's just literally one angle that gets you the double stop, and we need to find that through a little bit of finesse. What most people tend to do, though, when we're first learning our double stops is something more like, because we push down extra, right? There's this notion that, like, man, if I really lean in, maybe I can get 3 of these. No, it's not an extra pressure, it's an angles game, right? So what I recommend is you start maybe with D and A and go back and forth, kind of feeling out the difference between those two strings, and then make that smaller and smaller and smaller until you find the place in the middle that gets both. And when you can hold that end to end, when it stays put, pick it up and bring it back down. And just do that a couple times, just programming that muscle memory. The great news is that as far as your bow is concerned, there are only 3 double stops. There's this one, and this one, and this one. It's just the spacing of, there's a G and a D together, a D and an A, and an A and an E. So you can kind of do that back and forth thing, make that smaller, closer, until you find the angle that gets bowed. And once you can maintain that, pick it up, put it down, saw back and forth. And you may find that you kind of wobble in and out of double stop. Listen really carefully for which one are you losing. Do you lose the low string when it goes away? Is it maybe you lose the low string on a down bow but the high string on an up bow, vice versa? That's worth checking out and kind of seeing if there's a pattern to how the double stop falls away. If it does, then you can use that to kind of chase how to fix it. So that's part 1, is just get to where you can hold that. Then part 2 is staying out of your own way, right? Is not bumping a string that you don't intend to with your fingers. And for that, I like to just do a scale. You're staying out of your way, right? I just walked a D major scale. I played D, E, F sharp, G on the D string while droning A, and then A, B, C sharp, D while droning D. So my bow never moves. Now with that, there's 2 dissonant intervals. That one and that one. We're playing the G against A and the F sharp, the C sharp against D. So if those bug you and that distracts you from the exercise, you can actually do it as a pentatonic scale, 5-tone scale. Skipping those notes entirely. And then it's consonant the whole time. So either way, it doesn't really matter, because what we're practicing in this is keeping those fingers arched, that you're bent at every joint, you're landing straight down on your fingertips and not letting anything flatten out in ways that might buzz. So I'd say find the correct positioning of the bow, then try walking some scales and see if that makes it easier when you decide to start adding double stops into your tune. You at least have a little bit of muscle memory to go with. So good luck with that, have some fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye.